I've been making music for about 20 years now, and I probably played every single chord progression out there. E major to G major, D major to E flat major, C major to A minor. But there's one chord progression that sticks out to me, and in this video I want to share with you why I think it's so special. But first we have to go back to the 19th century to understand what tonality is and how the relationship between chords works. So tonality is a system that puts notes in a specific order and in relation to each other. There was a French guy called François-Joseph Vitis who made the first good attempt to describe tonality. His idea was that tonal music is either based on the major or the minor scale and the relations between the chords and the notes of these two. So what are the characteristics of the understanding of Vitis tonality? If the 4th and the 7th appear simultaneously, which happens to be in the 7th chord of the 5th, stay with me, that's as complicated as it gets, there's something Vitis calls tendance, which basically is the tension from one chord, the 7th chord, to its natural first. He would then categorize the notes and the chords into 3 different categories. The first is repos, which is basically calm or rest, and this is the first scale degree. The second is absence de repos, which is absence from calm. And the third one, as we already know, is tendance, tension. Based on how complicated the harmonization of each scale degree is, the character of the chord will and can change from one to another one. Normally you do this by using enharmonic modulations or alterations. This is everything you need to know about how chords and notes work in relation to each other. Obviously, Vitis couldn't categorize every scale degree with every possible harmonization in combination with each different existing chord, because there's just an infinite amount of possibilities. So the rest is up to us to see what chords work together with each other. Over the time, musicians develop preferences for certain combinations of chords, and these preferences are what we hear and know as tonal harmonic music. The most common chord progressions will be from the 1st to the 4th or 5th and vice versa. Also the 4th to the 5th and the 5th to the 6th. Keep in mind that the 4th is major, the 5th is major, but the 6th is minor. So there will be differences when you play 4, 5 and 5 and 6. Why is that? Because most of the time the 5th has the special tension towards the 1st. If you would go from 2nd to 3rd, it would also sound entirely different than if you would go from 4th to 5th, because the 3rd doesn't have the tension the 5th has. If you're modulating and the 1st is actually not the 1st anymore, then yes, the 3rd could be 7th chord with this tension. But if the root note doesn't change, there will always be this tension between 5th and 1st. My theory is this: the further away two chords are in the major or minor tonality system, the weirder or more unusual they will sound to us. But because they're more complex and we don't hear them very often, we will enjoy them more. Imagine you're eating rice all week, you're just so used to this taste. But then you go out with your friends, you order some pizza or a burger, and it just tastes awesome. And it's the same with these chords, because we don't get them very often and our ears are still used to the 1st, 4th, 5th chord progressions. Something like C major to A flat minor will just sound great. I have to admit that in this example we already used 2 scales, we used the major and the minor scale, so we already broadened the rules of tonality we just set. So what chord progression is so special that I would make a complete video about it? It's the tonic of a major or minor scale to the augmented 4th as a major chord. These 2 chords couldn't be further away in a classical scheme of tonality and harmony, and they don't have any common notes, which makes it so unusual and special. In the early days of tonality, it wouldn't make any sense to put an augmented 4th right before a tonic, but listen to it and tell me that it does not sound tonal. To make my point stronger, I want to show you 2 masterpieces that use exactly these chord progressions from the tonic to the augmented 4th. The first one is from Liszt's B minor sonata, it's E minor to B flat major. And now how Liszt wrote it. I don't know how to explain it, but it just always sounds super fresh, super fruity, and it always gets me this part. The second example is from Rachmaninoff's Symphonic Dance's first movement. These 2 chords are so far from each other that if you use them like this, you can literally modulate in any key in no time at all. To conclude this video, I don't know if it's okay to say that there is the best chord progression, because it will be different for everybody. But as with everything, the less we have it, the more we want it and the more we will enjoy it. If you want to learn more about tonality and how this one chord from Richard Wagner basically destroyed the whole tonality system and classical music, you should check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, and we see each other on the next one.